Hi there, it's Jen from empathicmastery.com. You can see the URL right there. And for learning how to do EFT and become an EFT practitioner, head on over to EFTinstruction.com, which is where all my information about doing EFT trainings is. And if you can see behind me, there are two little tapping tuxedo kittens, Livy and Neo, who are hanging out. Hopefully they will be obliging. So today I wanted to do a really special video and a tap along video for you regarding the COVID vaccine. And the reason why this is a special video is that this is actually a surrogate tap along video for our future selves. So I'm about to go get my first round of vaccine on Friday, and I am not somebody, when it comes to the vaccine spectrum, I would say I'm somebody who is cautious and mindful of the fact that it does affect different people very differently. And yet, I would not say I am either a pro vaxxer or an anti vaxxer, that I fall somewhere in the middle of that. But I do have a few concerns. And I also personally am a recovering chronic Lyme survivor. I've had pneumonia multiple times. My lungs tend to be the place where things affect me. I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. I'm known for having reactions to things. So I've got some really good reasons for being concerned about my body being affected by the vaccine. So I was thinking to myself, okay, I know that tapping has been working for my friends. You can find two tapping videos, one for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and another one for dose 2 of the Moderna vaccine. They're longer demonstrations on how to tap for symptoms with the COVID vaccine. But I figured, why not try doing some preemptive tapping and do sort of a surrogate tapping on my future self? So I'm going to invite you. This is a complete sort of like, hey, let's see how this works. So I'm going to invite you to join me in suspension of disbelief and just sort of let's experiment and see how this works. Now, as with all of my videos, you agree to take 100% responsibility for your own process. Don't go places that you don't belong. If I say something and the words don't work for you, then change the words to work for you. And to be clear, tapping is not meant to treat, to diagnose, or to replace any kind of medical intervention. It's all about tapping on how we feel and think about what's going on and our energy in relationship to it. So, what I'm going to do is just take a moment, and if you want to join me, I'm just going to take a moment to put my hand on my heart and close my eyes and imagine myself a few days from now, about 24, probably about 24 hours after getting the vaccine. And just imagine that I'm kind of feeling it. And what I'm immediately noticing for myself is that there's a bit of a headache. It sort of feels like there's a band of tension wrapping around my head. I would say that right now it's probably no more than a 3-4. It's not really intense, but it's just kind of this dull, like, ugh. And I also can just feel this kind of heavy weightedness. So it sort of feels like I've just kind of had somebody poured a bunch of concrete into me. That's the sense that I get. That's kind of what I imagine my future self is feeling like. And I would say that the feeling of that heavy concrete feels like it's maybe about a 5 right now. And if you've never used a rating system, what we're doing is we're just evaluating using what's called a SUDS, a subjective units of distress scale, to determine where on the spectrum from our subjective experience would we rate this. And so 0 being absolutely nothing at all, and 10 being so off the chart you've never felt anything worse than that, where does it fall? So like I said, I'm sort of imagining the headache is like a 3-4, and the feeling like somebody poured a bunch of concrete or cement into my system is about a 5. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tap on it. And the way we're going to do this is really standard recipe, where we're just going to do the setup, and then we're going to have, which includes the starting point of even though I feel like somebody poured concrete into my body, it is what it is. And I'm open to the possibility that this can shift entirely. Even though it feels like somebody poured concrete into my body. And I can feel this headache. I'm just tapping on it. And I'm open to the possibility that this can shift. So even though it's just true, it feels like somebody poured concrete into my body. I'm just acknowledging it. I'm just tapping on it. And I am open to the possibility that this can shift. And this can be surprisingly easy. Feels like concrete was poured into my body. The feeling of concrete poured into my body. Concrete in 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 my body. Now let's just take a moment and just breathe in. And again, just sort of close our eyes, put our hand on our heart, and just tuning in to that future self and just seeing. So I'm noticing that the headache that had been maybe a 3-4 feels like it's more of it's a little brighter, but it doesn't feel quite as tight. So I would say that it is a shifting 3. And the feeling of concrete in my body feels like it's probably down to a 4, but I am aware of the heaviness of it. So we're going to tap a little more. So even though I'm aware of this heaviness of concrete in my body, I'm just tapping on it, and I'm open to the possibility that this can shift in a way that works for me. Even though I feel this heaviness in my body, feel kind of like concrete, I am open to the possibility that this can shift in a way that really works for me. Even though I feel this heaviness in my body, and it makes it hard to deal. It makes it hard to get anything done. I'm just tapping on it, and I am open to the possibility that this can shift in a way that really works for me. This heaviness in my body feels like concrete was pouring into my whole body. This heaviness in my body, 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 this heaviness in my body. Let's take another deep breath. And again, just tuning in. And I'm noticing that headache, even though we haven't even tapped on it, it's feeling like it's more like a 2.5 to a 3. And actually some of that brightness has come down and it feels like it's a little duller, just a little softer, a little bit, it's not as tight. And the feeling of heaviness like concrete actually feels like that's lifting. And I would say now where it started at about a 5, it feels like it's about a 2. But what I can feel sort of coming up with that is more of that weariness, just feeling exhausted from it. And that feels like it's probably like a 4 or 5. So even though I still feel this 2 of heaviness, I can feel this weariness. It's like the heaviness is just dragging me down. I'm just tapping on it and loving myself anyway. So even though I feel this heaviness, it's exhausting. It feels like it's dragging me down. I'm open to the possibility that this can shift and I can love myself anyway. So even though I am feeling this heaviness and it feels like it's like an emergency brake that's holding me back, it's dragging me down, I'm just tapping on it. And I'm open to the possibility that this can shift in a way that really works for me and that I can love myself anyway. This heaviness in my body, it's really dragging me down. This heaviness in my body, it's really dragging me down. This heaviness in my body, it's really dragging me down. This heaviness in my body, it's really dragging me down. This heaviness in my body, it has been dragging me down. This heaviness in my body, it's slowing me down. This heaviness in my body, just feeling how it's been making me drag, feel like I'm just dragging. Feeling like I'm dragging. We're just going to do another round on that feeling like I'm dragging. 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 Let's take another deep breath. So now the headache feels like it's probably like a 1.5. And the heaviness feels like it's probably a 1.5, 2. And the fatigue really feels like it's lifted. So that I feel like I'm dragging, maybe a 2. So all of this is alleviating and releasing. And so I think, considering how low it's gotten, I'm going to introduce a new possibility. So even though I feel this band of tension, or have felt this band of tension around my head, and my body had felt like I had concrete poured into me, it's shifting. I can see how it feels lighter now. And I'm open to the possibility that this can completely release and relax. And my body can use this medicine to do exactly what it needs to do. That my body can accept this medicine and let it do exactly what my body needs it to do. So even though I started with a headache and feeling like concrete was poured into my body and feeling really dragged down, I can see and feel a shift. I feel lighter. I feel looser. And I'm open to the possibility that my body can expand into this, that my body can relax and accept this medicine in the best possible way. And that it is safe for me to relax. So even though I had a headache, I felt like concrete was poured into my body, I felt like I was dragging, I'm noticing that it is shifting faster than I would have imagined. And I am open to the possibility that my body can relax, that I can expand into this, and that my body can accept this medicine in a way that really works for me, that my body can receive what it needs and can do what it needs to do with this vaccine, and that it is safe for me to relax, it is safe for me to breathe, and it is safe for me to let my guard down. Any last bits of tension in my body, any last bits of reactivity in my body, any last bits of heaviness in my body, any last bits of worry and concern in my body, all of this. Breathing in to the wisdom of my body, embracing the wisdom of my body, and letting the wisdom of my body receive and accept this medicine. Any last bits of tension or worry, any last bits of heaviness or dragging, any last bits of contraction or concern, letting my body relax, breathing into the relaxation, inviting the wisdom of my body to take this medicine and use it in the best way possible, inviting my body to accept this medicine and use it in the best way possible. Inviting my body to relax and expand. It is safe for my body and for me to relax. It is safe for me to relax. Let's take another deep breath. And just tuning in, noticing if there's anything left. I'm noticing there's just a little tiny bit of a headache left. And just really, really welcoming the wisdom of my body. So even though there's a tiny bit of a headache left, because this has been a really big deal. And this last year has been exhausting. I am open to the possibility that my body can embrace this, and that the wisdom of my body can guide me, and that I am safe and it is safe for me to relax. So even though there is a residual little bit of heavy headache, I welcome the wisdom of my body and invite my body's natural healing abilities to use this medicine in the best way possible. So even though there's a little tiny bit left here, understandably, it's been a doozy of a year, and it's been really stressful. And there's been a lot of controversy around all of this. No wonder there's some tension. No wonder there's some distress. I am open to the possibility that there is a wisdom in my body that knows exactly what to do with this. As a matter of fact, I choose to know that there is a wisdom in my body that knows exactly how to process this medicine, what to do with this medicine, and how to use it in the best possible way for my health and my safety. And I welcome that wisdom right here, right now. Any last bits of tension or worry, because it has been one hell of a year. All of the weight of the last year, all of the intensity of the last year, acknowledging it and putting it down and welcoming the shift that comes with this medicine. Welcoming the shift. Welcoming the wisdom of my body to process this. Welcoming the innate healing ability of my body to work with this medicine so that my body is safe and healthy. Welcoming the wisdom of this medicine. Relaxing into the wisdom of my body. Relaxing into the wisdom of my body. I breathe in to the wisdom of my body. We're going to use our breath now and just really tune into the wisdom. And I breathe out any last bits of tension or worry. I welcome and embrace the wisdom of my body that knows how to use this medicine in the best possible way. I welcome and embrace the wisdom of my body that knows how to use this medicine in the best possible way. I welcome and embrace the wisdom of my body that knows how to use this medicine in the best possible way. Breathing in the wisdom in my body. Letting go of any tension or worry. Breathing in ease and expansion to my body. Letting go of any tension or worry. breathing in relaxation and letting go of any concerns. Breathing in gentleness and ease. And releasing my concerns. Breathing in the wisdom of my body. And letting go of any distractions, any concerns. Breathing in calmness and peace. And letting go of all the rest for now. Breathing in acceptance and the goodness that is in this medicine. Letting my body take what it needs and release the rest. Breathing in what I need and releasing everything else. Breathing in what I need and releasing everything else. Breathing in what I need and releasing everything else. Let's take a deep breath. Well, my body definitely feels a lot more prepared for this. And when I tune into my future self, I am a lot calmer, I am a lot more grounded, and I am a lot more relaxed about my body's capacity to process this. So, that's what you got right now. Now, obviously, this is, this video is less than a half hour. And when it comes to tapping, sometimes we'll peel back a layer of the onion and we'll discover that there's more underneath. And so if you are noticing that this has brought anything up or that you need to continue to tap, I really want to invite you to consider finding other resources and support for continuing to do some tapping. Please continue to do tapping for yourself. I have a lot of other videos here that you can check out and you can use to tap along. And also, there are some amazing EFT practitioners in the world. And a really great place to track down somebody to support you is over at the EFT International website. And then, of course, obviously, I do this too. And if you're interested in learning more about working with me, you can go over to empathicmastery.com. That's all I got for right now. I hope that this is as helpful. Well, I hope this is helpful for me. And since I'm doing this days in advance of the vaccine, I also hope that this is really helpful for you. Please leave a comment below. Let me know if you do this a couple days before your vaccine, and then let me know how you're doing. I'd love to hear from you. Okay. Peace.